I am absolutely honored to be able to share in this celebration today. I recognize right from the start that I'm the speaker right before you getting the graduation certificates. And given how hard you worked to get those things, I will try to keep this as brief as possible. One of the things I want to do, I got to tell you, my heart has been touched watching this ceremony, hearing some of the stories, specifically hearing Jonathan's story outside and Pooja's story here. I walked in having an understanding of what Europe was, having done the research to prepare myself for this speech. But I gotta tell you, witnessing the fellowship amongst all of you, clapping each other's hands, slapping each other on the back. I mean, you clearly went through something this year, and through that, it just inspires me to want to do whatever I can do and to try to help Dallas ISD be a partner to you all at Europe, because you were quite honestly changing lives. So please help me congratulate Europe for the work that they are doing. The next thing I want to do, I'm going to talk a lot to you and about you. But I recognize that in this process, you could not do this alone. And that there are a lot of people in this crowd that I know played a critical role in helping you persevere through the process. So help me thank them by standing up, turning around, and giving them a round of applause. All right, so I want to talk to you all about three things. Something I know you're all familiar with. I want to talk to you about the 3 R's. You know the 3 R's, right? What are they?
Yes.
Usually I get reading, writing, and arithmetic. Now I want to talk to you about the 3 R's that I think are extremely relevant to tonight's ceremony. I want to talk to you about reality. I want to talk to you about resilience. And I want to talk to you about responsibility. Each of these things is absolutely relevant to what you just experienced and what you will experience moving forward. So let's start with reality. Reality today is that we live in a hyper-connected world, in a global economy that demands that people, in order to make it, figure out a way to acquire the skills necessary to be competitive in this global economy. And if you can't figure out a way to do that, life can be very difficult. It can present a set of challenges, some challenges that to many of us can seem insurmountable. The second element of reality is that, especially in America, and I can say this about even Dallas, serving on the Dallas Independent School District Board of Trustees, that we still have an education system that in some ways is archaic, old-fashioned, when it comes to preparing the next generation of citizens to be competitive in that global economy. We tell you, you either go to college or you work and figure it out. And we leave you to have to try to figure that out. And I didn't realize I was going to be preaching today. That's a second element of the reality that we all are living today. The third element of that reality is that, especially here in America, we have not done right by far too many communities. For at least a century, if not more, in fact, for a century and more, We have had systems that have been created to hold people back, rooted in race and racism. Now, bear with me for a second. Governments at the local level, at the state level, at the federal level, that would create housing policy that literally stopped people from getting access to the capital and the equity necessary to be able to do things like get a home, which was the best way to the middle class. There was a program called the Federal Redlining Program, where we went to communities like Dallas, and we zoned out communities and said, because of who is in those communities, we are going to forego giving them access to the resources necessary to be able to have boots and then pick themselves up by the bootstraps. Segregation, schools, and a lack of access to high quality education. Where we placed highways, and so on and so forth. These decisions set back generations of people. And because of that, today's global economy becomes even more challenging for many people who have had to live the compounding negative effects of these decisions. That is the reality of the situation that we find ourselves in. That's the reality of the situation that you find yourselves in. Which brings me to the next R, resilience. Despite the challenges, despite the history, despite what the future may hold as that global economy continues to evolve, you decided you wanted to make something of yourself. You decided to turn yourself from a barista to someone working at Bank of America and Goldman Sachs and so on and so forth. You didn't have to do it. You didn't have to stick with this program. In fact, I'm sure there may have been some people that started that aren't here with you today because it's extra difficult to try to make it given this reality. But you persevered. You stayed resilient. You kept showing up. When you knew your classmate needed you, you gave them that text message. You made that call to let them know they needed to show back up. And because of that, because of your resilience, you have not only changed your trajectory in life, you've had an impact on people around you, on your family, on your friends, on a kid in 20 or 30 years who's going to go through Europe, who's going to show up at Bank of America, and is going to see you, Pooja. And they're going to say, she did it. And now I can do it too. That resilience has been transformational for so many people, including yourselves. Which brings me now to my third R, responsibility. Now that you have made it, now that you are getting this certificate, now that you remember and recognize the reality that 5 million people face based on the stats that Europe presents, you have to do more. You have to tell more people about this program. You have to stay with the trajectory that you're on. You can no longer think about giving up. You need to challenge yourself. Go higher. Start the job that you're going to have. Finish the degree that you want to pursue. And then do more. You may not have recognized when you were getting into Europe that you had this responsibility waiting for you. You thought maybe I get the certificate, that's awesome, we get to have a cool party, and then I'll go and work. But there are way too many people now that are going to look at you and wonder what more you're going to do. And there are far too many people who don't even know what this program and what you've just been through can do for them. So I'll leave you with this. 2 quotes. The first is from civil rights author James Baldwin, who once said, "Not everything that's faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced." You decided to face a set of difficult circumstances because you knew you could do it, you knew you were destined to do it, you knew you could achieve it, and because of it, you've changed your life. The second thing is this. It's a quote from the ancient Greek mathematician Archimedes, who once said, "Give me a place to stand, and I'll go on to move the world." The second you pick up that certificate, you've found your place to stand. It's incumbent upon you now to go and change the world. Congratulations, Class 5. Keep doing amazing things, and I cannot wait to see what you do next. Thank you.